Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is going to be the flick through for issues 57 and 58 of Warhammer Combat Patrol. These are Cthonian Beserks, and it's a two-part issue. Now this is interesting because one of these minis is a pair and they are placed on what looks like a 50mm base, but we'll get to that. So come and join me on the desk and we will have a look through. Hey lovelies. Right, shall we have a look at issues 57 and 58 of Combat Patrol? We get Cthonian Beserks in this. And I find this interesting because one of the bases, I think we get 28mm bases, but we also get a 50mm base because there is a pair. Right, so 57. 58. And here's our bases. We get 5 bases. But like I said, one of them is a 50mm base. So we will get an opportunity to look at that in a mo. Let's put those there. Let's pop these up here and let's get into the magazine, shall we? So these are our Cthonian Beserks here on the front, and it looks like we've got possibly a pack mule. Somebody's being used as a pack mule for all their equipment by the look of it, because it looks like we've got the 5. Well, we've got 5 Beserks. One of them's armed with some sort of bolter by the look of it, and I'm assuming that he is one of these guys, just armed with an automatic weapon, because he's got these cables which are coming out of his head in the same way that the others do. Right, so here we go. How to build Cthonian Beserks. Let me just check the pages. So, I mean, these guys look like the body and the legs, 3 parts for the most parts. Looks like we've got cabling, a lot of cabling, because these guys have, well, this guy here has got power fists, twin-wielded power fists. The second guy is wielding some sort of power weapon, power glaive maybe. The third also has one of these axe things. And the fourth as well, by the look of it. And then we have our gear monkey and guy. It's a mole grenade launcher apparently. Launcher fires burrowing explosive charges. Excellent. We like that. Okay. Right, Leagues of Votann, the Cronus Hegemony. The Cronus Hegemony is one of the newer Leagues of Votann. They are known for their aggressive, warlike nature and are adept fighters whose belligerence is legendary and whose victories are beyond counting. Fantastic. I do like their vehicles. Their vehicles are pretty cool. Land Raiders, transports for our read section. I do hope that the Land Raider does not get removed from the roster list. And then we have light vehicles. So this will be bikes and speeders and jet bikes, or skimmers as they call them. So jet bikes. And then Cthonian Beserks. Right, here we go. Cthonian Beserks take to battle brandishing deadly mining tools that they can use to storm fortified positions and destroy those within. Their augmentations provide them with the additional strength needed to wield their mighty weapons and give them the fortitude to fight on up until the moment of their deaths. So we get a D6 rolling chart to decide your background table. Then you can name them as well. And then our data sheet. So these guys have a 5-inch move. They have toughness 5. They have a 6+ save. So that's not brilliant. 2 wounds, 7+ leadership and objective control 1. I would think that these guys might benefit from being put in a transport, if that's a thing. Infantry, so I'm assuming they can go in transports. So the Mole Grenade Launcher, Blast, Indirect Fire is a 24-inch range. It's D6 attacks, Ballistic Skill 4+, Strength 5, AP -1 and 1 damage. And then the melee weapons, you have the Heavy Plasma Axe, Strike. So there's 2 profiles for the Heavy Plasma Axe. So you have Strike, which is 3 attacks, Weapon Skill 3+, Strength 6, -2 AP, 2 damage, and then Sweep, which is 6 attacks, 3+ Weapon Skill, Strength 4, -1 AP, and 1 damage. And you then have the Twin Concussive Gauntlet, which is the guy wielding basically the twin power fists. It says they're twin linked. And they have 4 attacks, a 4+ weapon skill, strength 9, -1 AP, and 2 damage. The Mole Grenade Launcher, it says add 1 to the wounds and attacks characteristics of the model equipped with this weapon. Cyber Stims. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that unit has not fought this phase, roll 1d6 on a 4+. Do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks and then removed from play. That's a handy little thing. So we have campaign. So we have another campaign playthrough here for Orcs versus Tyranids. The Orcs and Tyranids are both creatures of instinct. The Tyranids are driven by insatiable hunger, while Orcs simply relish the thrill of battle. And when these two forces meet, the result is sheer carnage. We are playing the Display of Might scenario, filed under G, Core Missions 02. Because we're getting quite a few of these, I'm not going to read them out as much. Otherwise we'll be here all day. And then Leagues of Votann faction ability. Eye of the Ancestors is a special ability that can be used by the Leagues of Votann armies. The ability is used to add judgment tokens to enemy units. Friendly units then get a bonus when attacking units with judgment tokens. The type of bonus that they get depends on how many judgment tokens the enemy unit has been allocated. Each time an enemy unit destroys a Leagues of Votann unit from your army, that enemy unit gains 1 judgment token. An enemy unit can never have more than 2 judgment tokens. Any further judgment tokens a unit would gain beyond this are ignored. Each time a model from your army makes an attack that targets a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens, until that model's attacks have been resolved, apply the relevant bonus from the table below. So eminent threat, +1 to the hit rolls. Now we've got a grudge to settle, add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll. So on a 1 you get imminent threat, and on 2 you get, now we've got grudge to settle. So we did get judgment tokens in the back of one of the issues previously. So I have ancestors, combat patrol rules. So for enhancements, they have waste feeds the void, default enhancement, and then pragmat comms uplink is optional enhancement. Secondary objectives, you have default secondary, which is toil earns, and then secondary objective is settle a grudge. Stratagems, payments in kind, pan-spectral sweep, and skein wrought physiology. And those are your stratagems. Then we have, coming up in issue 61, and from 61 onwards, we are getting the Imperial Guard Astra Militarum Combat Patrol, and we are getting the Gene Stealer Cults Combat Patrols, and we get another mat. So is that 4 now? I can't remember. Conscript your friends and fend off the threats facing humanity with the Astra Militarum. Rise up and topple the ruling powers with the terrifying operatives of the Gene Stealer Cults. I'm looking forward to the Astra Militarum. So we have next issue, which is the second part of the Cthonian Beserks, but then in issue 59, which is currently being processed this weekend that the clocks went back in the UK, we are going to get our Boomdacker Snazwagon. Right, here we go. So, painting. I hate these. War speaks prospects. So here we go. Now, okay, so these guys, it looks like these guys have been undercoated with Wraithbone. I'm assuming that's because of the majority of them have a paler skin colour, which, if you're trying to paint that over black, would be an absolute nightmare. So the coveralls that they're wearing, again, are the Avalon Sunset. You're coming in with black for certain parts, Catachan Flesh for some of the padding, Lead Belcher for some of the metallic pipes, metal skull caps, weapons, etc. Oh, this is interesting. Mephiston Red on the power blades. Reikland Flesh Shade is being used to shade the orange, the Avalon Sunset, and the flesh tones. And then that's what we're going to be looking at with our minis so far. League territories. All kindreds will hold sway over some place that they call home, whether a small hold world, a nomadic flotilla of vessels, or a gargantuan void station. But the leagues, each formed of many kindreds, boast larger territories still, which they expand, exploit, and protect with their characteristic single-mindedness and determination. And we have a star chart showing the various leagues. Life in the Galactic Core. Life in the Galactic Core is brutal and harsh. There is no place for error, and only through the aggressive acquisition and hoarding of resources and technology can anyone hope to stay alive there for very long. It is this harsh reality that has conditioned the mindset and culture of the kindreds who live there. They devote great efforts to seeking out new knowledge and new resources to safeguard their societies, and they prize bravery, exploration, and efficiency in all things. Even those kindreds who have achieved some level of security dare not waste anything or miss any opportunity. They are never far from the precipice and the unpredictable and violent nature of the forces that surround them may come to bear at any moment. So campaign, we got Eldari versus Orcs, and this is Forward Outpost from Core Missions 03. We have Chaos Space Marines versus Orcs, and this one is going to be Scorched Earth from Core Missions 04. And then we have War Speaks Prospect, which is Combat Patrol Leagues of Votann, going through the different minis with their various loadouts. So the Thane in the Hearthkin Warriors is equipped with an Etakan plasma pistol, melee weapon. Hearthkin Warriors are equipped with 4 Hearthkin Warriors are equipped with Autok pattern bolt pistol, Ion Blaster close combat weapon. 1 Hearthkin Warrior is equipped with an Autok pattern bolt pistol, Ion Blaster close combat weapon. 1 Hearthkin Warrior is equipped with the bolt pistol, Ion Blaster close combat weapon, Medipack. Another is equipped with the bolt pistol, Ion Blaster close combat weapon, and pan-spectral scanner. The penultimate warrior is equipped with the Autok pattern bolt pistol, high-las auto rifle close combat weapon, and then the final warrior is with the bolt pistol, Magna rail rifle close combat weapon. And then we have a high-las rotary cannon for one of our Hearthkin Pioneers, Magna coil auto cannon, which is the one on the front, and the bolt revolver. Scenario 35, hunt them down. While exploring a derelict space hulk in the void between worlds, a contingent of Cthonian Beserks spreads out from the rest of their crew in search of the knowledge that may still be hidden within the systems of ancient wreck. But they stray too far and become cut off from their fellow salvagers. Soon the readings on their scanners reveal the terrifying truth. They are not alone. Quickly the Beserks take a last futile look at the area and then head back towards their fellow salvagers. But as they move, their life signs on their scanners move with them. Whatever is in there with them is wise to their presence and is hunting them. The Cthonian Beserks resolve not to flee before this unknown foe, but to meet it head on. They draw their weapons and turn about, bodies thrumming with the invigorating cyber stims coursing through their veins. A skittering noise alerts them to the danger. Tyranids. These beasts never give up, and there is only one way to survive. The Cthonian Beserks must hunt and kill every last one of them. How to play. To play, hunt them down. Set up the battlefield so that it represents an ancient space hulk using a single battle mat as shown on the next page. Then follow the deployment instructions after each player has finished deploying their units. The players roll off to decide which of them takes the first turn. During the game, each terrain card on the battlefield represents a solid pillar that runs from floor to ceiling of the derelict ship. Units cannot see over or through these terrain features, which means they cannot shoot through them. Neither can they climb up and over these terrain features. So it looks like, the single battle mat is one of the ones which has the spaceship interior on them. You're going to be deploying in opposite corners, and then your terrain cards are essentially, because there's 8 sections, the way that the map's folded, you've got 8 sections. You essentially put the pillars down in the middle of each section. How to win. Each player scores 2 victory points for each enemy unit that is destroyed. The player with the most victory points after 5 battle rounds is the winner. If both players have an equal number of victory points after 5 battle rounds, the battle is a draw. So data sheet abilities, explanations, and then your win conditions. Same information that we had in last issue, but on the back here we have 5 Ironhair Hearthguard. And they look pretty cool. They look like the Terminator equivalent for our Leagues of Votann. So that's coming in issue 60. And our Boom Slacker Dazwagon in issue 59. So here we go. Oh, straight off the bat, I've seen an alternative weapon sculpt, which are these hammers. Fantastic. If Tank Tolman could see this, it would be hammer. He'd be very excited. So you actually get... I am looking at this now. I can only see one set of these gauntlets, but you do get, so if you wanted to, you could kit your whole unit out. You do get, by the look of it, a full, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hammers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the power axes, the plasma axes. That's what these look like. So you can kit your whole unit out if you so wish. Here's your pack for your kit monkey. Yeah, I mean, these guys look obviously very similar to the squats that we've had already, except for their shirtless. And I've got a friend who's who's up for the Fire Slayers because they're shirtless dwarves. I wonder if she'd feel the same way about these. Yeah, these look really cool. I am keen to get them put together. They have a sculpt date of 2022, so they're not that old. In terms of kit lifespan, they're probably still teenagers when you compare them to the lifespan of some other kits that we've got out there. But yeah, 2022 is the sculpt date. Come and join me on the desk and we'll get a couple of these built. What I might do is build the guy with the gauntlets, one guy with a plasma axe, and the pair that sit on this 50mm base. Okay, see you there. Hey lovelies, should we build some Cthonian Beserks? Now, the first thing I'm going to do, actually, is, it's not mentioned in the instructions at all, but when I looked online and found an online copy of the instructions, because I noticed that there were a couple of little kind of like mines. They look like mines to me. And what they were, so if I show you, there's these little canister things popping out of the ground. Now these are mole grenades or whatever they call them. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. And these are tokens. You get 2 of these. I noticed these on the sprue. You get 2 of these. And what they are is there's an effect for the mole grenade launcher that the ranged weapon that one of these guys has. And then in order to indicate a unit that has been affected by it, you can place these tokens. Now obviously when we got this issue, what was it, 57 and 58, they didn't include the 25mm bases, so I've raided my spares, come up with 2 little bases, and I'll obviously put these tokens. So for those of you that have, like, these are the first Leagues of Votann stuff that you've ever had, and you're wondering what these are on the sprue, that's what they are. They are mole grenades. Then they're tokens to indicate when a unit has had, an enemy unit has had the effect of these mole grenades on them. So that was straight off the bat something for you. Shall we build one of the axe wielding guys? And these guys are actually quite dynamic. I like these. So essentially these guys mostly go together in a similar process. You'll often have either 2 legs with a significant portion of the back of the torso, and then you just glue the 2 halves together and then the front of the torso on, or as in this case you've got 4 bits. So you've got the back, the 2 legs, and then the front of the body as well. Now these, because of the way that these are cut in order to get the dynamic poses and get them onto the sprue, so that they can obviously be molded, there is a lot of stuff. It's just basically doesn't go together, so you will need to add your glue to the pieces and then add in whatever piece it is that you're gluing to the assembly. And then from there you can go round and from there you can go round and add in a bit more glue should you need it, which I'm going to need in this case. Come on. So, and just be aware that you might not get the final position for some of these until you glue the front of the body on. Okay, so once that goes on, you can square everything up. And then just add all the necessary glue into the relevant parts. So there you go, there's the torso. Now this guy I will glue to the base. There it is. Now this guy is going to go together fairly simply. Some of the other people that I've assembled have been a little bit more complicated because they've had cabling loose, extra cables, and this guy, his backpack, his power pack with these cables, all the cables are attached to this. So when you glue your 2 halves together, just make sure that you get it the right way up. And then add it. And the easiest way to tell is, so you've got 2 cables coming out of this part here, 2 cables there, 1 cable there, and obviously there's a corresponding cutout on the base of this cylinder, which will help you orient it the correct way. I'm just adding in some glue around there. Now, when you come to glue the backpack on, okay, have a look to see, just dry fit it to begin with, because you just need to make sure that all your connectors are going to plug into the relevant parts of the body. And what I'm going to do is, I think that needs to go there. Like so, there's actually a slight gap there. I hope that's potentially going to be filled off. If not, I'll have to get the green stuff out. So that is going to go in there, but can you see there's a slight gap there? And then, so you get two dimples on his back, okay, and that's where that's going to attach. Just make sure you locate it in the two dimples, and then I'm just going to glue round and add the glue to where the cables contact the body, like so. And I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds to make sure the glue goes off and everything is setting. Like that. Then we have his power magnet axe, or whatever it's called. And that is going to attach there, like so, and just make sure that you orientate it round so that it sits into the socket on the other arm. Okay, so like so. So I'm just going to add in a bit of glue there, bit of glue there, and away we go. That is that. And then the last thing is just to add his head. Better. So, shall we build our, that's our gunner, and here's our kit monkey. So our kit monkey has a fairly prominent torso here that the legs are going to attach to, and the front of his chest there. So that's going to go in like so. And then he has this backpack which is going to attach like that. there, like so. Come on, that's better. Then, because I think this is this kit monkey here is an automaton potentially. It's definitely got bionic legs, and the helmet doesn't look like it would fit a regular like so. Right, so there you go. Now this is actually an axe that he's got slung across his back, so the rest of it is here, and that is just going to attach like so. Just like that. Okay. Now he has, I shall stick his legs on. He has these legs, and these legs are going to attach, and they should only, you know, you should, because of the way that they're keyed, you should feel them kind of like slip into position. And then that one. Cool. Then he has this kind of robotic arm here, which is going to go this side. And it's going to marry up with his hand and his wrist. And this is why I think he's an automaton rather than a Votann personage. And then we have this, which is part of his arm, and that's just going to attach there like that. And this is a very tiny attachment, so getting that into position like so, and there's our automaton basically. So I'm going to glue him to the base, and he's kind of like, because he's the kit monkey, he's behind the person with the ranged weapon, so I shall stick him about there on the base. Like so. And then let's bring our ranged weapon guy in, and this guy is going to be built up. So he's got one leg, and then he's got half a leg and his back basically. So just be aware that, you know, a lot of these have different, slightly different constructions. So there's that. And then what I'm going to do is stick the torso, the front of the torso on, so that I can marry things up. So just make sure that that's all married up nicely. The rest of the leg so. And then there's that. Now, this guy has his weapon, and then he has this hand going in there. And that's actually quite a tight fit, so I'm going to glue that in. Like so. That gives us our arms. Now, coming to this, I'm just going to check which way up this is going to go. Like that. And then, once we've got this onto the body, I will check to see which way this cable goes in. So let's marry up the arms to the torso, like that. And we're going to do 1. Just press that home, and then 2, and press that home. Like that. I'm going to stick his head on at this point. There you go. Now, I'm just going to come in and glue his backpack on. And that is going to go like so. And then, making sure I get the orientation right. Spot the glue in there and just drop the cable in. And there you go. Then that will attach to, I think that's in the right position, like thus. So all I'm going to do is just going to go around, dab a glue where this guy, the cables meet. You need to be careful because these cables are actually quite flimsy, so when you're removing mould lines, just be aware that you can snap them quite easily. And then this guy is going to get attached there. So there's our 2-man unit on the 50mm base. And then finally our Thane. So again, nice and easy. You get these 2 power fists. I've already built one because they go together the same way basically. It's basically you've got the arm with the power fist on, and then you just put the back of the fist on, and that's it. Okay. Then we have our torso is going to go together, and just trying to get this around the right way. That's going to go in there like that. So a bit of spot glue. Join his butt cheeks together. like so. Then the front of the torso. Okay, I'm going to glue him to the base, and he's running, so you're only going to have a very tiny point of contact here with the toes of his foot attaching to the base. Now I'm going to position his feet just slightly back from the centre of the base so that his centre of gravity is good. Like so. Then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to double check which way around this is going to go. So this is slightly different, so this goes together because we've got this extra bit down here at the bottom, so that can only go together one way. Like that. And then I've actually broken this, so this is what I was saying. So the very tiny cable, don't know if you can see that tiny cable, really thin. I mean, to give it a comparison, you can see the thickness of the cable that I broke. So I'm going to attach this to the back, and the reason why I'm attaching this to the back now is because I want to marry up the cables for the power fists. So that's that. Then I'm going to come in with the first power fist and try and get that on there. So there you go, all in position. I'm going to glue that cable down. I'm just going to refer to the instructions to see if I can see where this other cable goes, the one that I broke. Okay. Can't quite make it out, but I'm going to have to bring the magnifier in and get the tweezers, deploy the tweezers in order to get it so that I can see. Now let's orientate this so that I pick it up the right way around. I think that is going to attach. I can see a cable plug on the shoulder. So that's going to go in like so. I'm just going to add in a tiny drop. And just make sure that's seated correctly. There you go. Right, okay. Now we've got a final cable, again similar to the one that we did on the other guy. So what I'm going to do is obviously just glue, and then just getting that around the right way, and then there's a plug just there that it goes into. So bingo, just like that. And then putting this last one on. Like that, and then I'm just going to add the glue here to make sure that these marry up and join together. And then like so. So there you go. That's the main assembly, just the head. And then this guy is all set like so. So there's our Thane, our 3 plasma axe wielders in these guys, and then our mole grenade launcher with his kit monkey. There's lots of like pouches for these mole grenades here. And then, it's not in the instructions, but you have these 2 tokens. So you need to source yourself a couple of 25mm bases for the tokens. And they go together like so. So these are with that. There's your boss, and here's your Cthonian Beserks. There, look. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, take care. Bye bye.